Hi there. Welcome to a demo of RunLLM. RunLLM is an AI-powered technical support engineer that saves your team time, accelerates adoption, and generates customer insights. It does that by building expertise in your product, which comes from reading and understanding your documentation, guides, and APIs. So let's dive in to see how RunLLM works. We'll start by creating a new assistant that's an expert on MLflow, which is an open source project from Databricks. An assistant is made up of a variety of data sources that you provide, like documentation, blog posts, and code examples, and a fine-tuned LLM that's an expert on your product. Typically, your documentation is the most important data source you can provide, but supplemental information from blogs, customer conversations, and past support tickets all help increase the breadth and the depth of RunLLM's answers. We'll start by pointing RunLLM at the MLflow documentation. We'll tell RunLLM to crawl everything under the latest documentation site, and RunLLM will go and scrape and ingest all the available data. As it does this, it will use an AI-powered data pipeline to read and analyze the documentation and annotate it with metadata like the topic it's on and what types of questions it might be used to answer. Once all the data is pulled in, RunLLM will fine-tune a custom language model that's tailored to be an expert on your product. It's the combination of this knowledge base and the custom language model that leads to generating the highest quality answers to customer questions. With our assistant fully trained, we can deploy it on our documentation site, on Slack or Discord, or on Zendesk to help answer customer tickets. Here, we'll look at the MLflow documentation site, and we'll start with a simple question, asking RunLLM to explain what MLflow is. RunLLM will use the expertise of the underlying LLM, as well as the data that we've ingested in the knowledge base, and we'll see that RunLLM generates a short explanation along with citations back to the underlying documentation to help you learn more. But RunLLM's chat experience goes far beyond typing some text in and getting some text back. For example, we can upload an image we took of a question from the MLflow community Slack. All we'll say is, hey, answer this question for me. RunLLM will automatically figure out what's in the image, what data is the most relevant for answering that particular question, and use the context from the image we entered in order to automatically generate an answer for us. Once RunLLM's generated this initial answer, it will go back and search its knowledge base for supplemental information. In this case, an alternative approach to storing MLflow experiments and artifact data. It found some supplemental information that it thought would be helpful to the user, and so it provided a follow-up message after the initial answer to help guide the user and give them additional context or an alternative approach to the problem that they were asking about. The coolest feature, though, is that RunLLM can check whether its answers are right. In this case, we'll ask RunLLM to help us with an operational task, like registering a new model in the Python SDK. As you'll see when the answer is generated, RunLLM will help us with this task by generating a small code snippet explaining to us exactly how to do that task. Once this is done, RunLLM will detect that there was a code snippet in this answer that we generated, and it will go and automatically try to test and validate the quality of that answer. As you'll see, the code snippet that we generated above was able to be successfully executed, so the user now has confidence that the answer we provide is going to be able to accomplish their task. Of course, if there's an error in the code and execution doesn't succeed, RunLLM will use the error message to edit the code to make sure that we can make the user as successful as possible. That edited code will be sent as a follow-up message right here in the chat, so the user is aware that there's something that they could be doing better. Once our assistant is deployed, RunLLM will automatically help us understand what our users are doing. As you can see, RunLLM is answering almost 5,000 questions a month for the MLflow community. Each of those questions is automatically categorized into a separate topic of questions. We can ask RunLLM to show us all the questions that fit into a particular topic, and even which ones of those were given negative feedback, or perhaps which ones of those we weren't able to find an answer for. This is usually a pretty good hint that this is an area that is missing from the docs or could use improvement from a product perspective. Finally, RunLLM can help us improve and maintain our documentation over time. In this example, we'll see a case where RunLLM detected a contradiction between data in our community Slack as well as the data in the documentation. It flags that for us, lets us tell it which one is correct, and make sure that it doesn't use any outdated information. It can also help proactively maintain your docs. RunLLM will connect to both your code repository and your documentation. Whenever you make a code change that affects your product documentation, RunLLM can auto-generate a new pull request that updates your documentation and provides a description of the changes it made and why it thought that those changes needed to be reflected in the docs. That's it for now, but we're constantly working on more, including advanced insights and providing new ways for customers to interact with RunLLM. If you're interested in learning more, please go to runllm.com or reach out. Thanks for watching.